this angle and this lighting, horrible. Feels homophobic. Almost. I had the worst half an hour of my life, probably. Had a little panic attack, which, it happens with me sometimes. It was very hard to breathe because of not anxiety, but like stress, high stress. I cried a little bit and I had to take a train, so there was like a schedule. It was awful, awful. But then I listened to a little bit of, Gideon the Ninth, and it was better. Hello there. I have the clip of Anakin Skywalker saying hello there stuck in my head. So now I have a little bit of an English accent because of him. I guess I haven't explained what I'm doing in this vlog, but you can guess by the title. I'm rereading Gideon and Harrow the Ninth throughout October and November. I'm doing a read-along on TikTok with some of my friends, and I'm annotating this time because I wanted to see, having already read the series, if I could pick up on, I don't know, some details, some foreshadowing, because my copy of Nona the Ninth has arrived and I'm very, very happy. But I promised my friend with which I buddy read Harrow the Ninth together that I would wait for the Italian translation so that we could read this together, because this is very tough to read in English. So in the meanwhile, I'm rereading Gideon, and I'm already finding a lot of foreshadowing just in the first 7 chapters. I'm on page 82. Husband Muir loves to make the readers suffer. I think it's a very good idea for her readers to reread the books, because there are a lot of details that I did not pick up on the first read. I also feel like the writing has gone upward. This book I remember being very fun, but kind of clunky in the way that it was constructed, because there were a lot of people and they were kind of interchangeable at times. But in Harrow was a game changer. Harrow was the original gatekeep, girl boss, gaslight, like the whole package. So I'm having a lot of fun. Also, I'm going to put a spoiler warning when I want to talk spoilers, because that's the point of the reread, to talk with you with spoilers. But I'll have most of the vlog spoiler free. I just wanted to say that knowing what I know now, having read both of the books, so spoilers, there's a passage in which Harrow says, "All you need to know is that you'll do what I say, or I'll mix bone meal in with your breakfast and punch my way through your gut." She does that. It's the soup scene in Harrow. I hate this. I hate this so much, and it's not true. I love it. I mean it in a sarcastic way. And also, there's this fantastic passage. Gideon was discomfited to find the gaze of the bloodless third twin on her and Harrow heart both. Her pale eyes like sniper sights, her mouth exquisitely chill. There was something in her stare that Gideon's is like an impact. Yes, because Ianthe, I see you. I see your long game. I already know it. So I'm having tons of fun. Rereading is proving to be the most fun out of all my reading experience, because I already know. So I'll continue on. It is, unfortunately, it's a beautiful day, but ironically I have bones problem in my hip, so I can't go outside. So I'll just have another dose of bones problem with Gideon.
E quindi simpatico.
Hello! So yes, I got a microphone. It's a tiny microphone and I'm very physically attached to it because it has a long cable. But also like emotional attached to it because it's tiny and I love it. So, wait. I am at the end of chapter 18 of Gideon the Ninth, and I have to say that this time around, where I know most of the characters already, it's a lot easier to read. First time around, too many characters. It was a flaw of the book that I pointed out. There were too many characters interacting with each other, and they all called themselves different things because they had a name, a last name, the number of the house they belonged to, and like a nickname. So like 4 names for how many people? Almost 20 people. Now it's a little less daunting, but still. Also, spoilers. If you want to know where I actually am, Magnus and Abigail have just been murdered, which was very sad. I really like Magnus. He was like a pun-loving, sweet guy. His wife, we didn't get to know her very well, so you know. But I'm very happy because the investigation is just starting to take place. I'm happy. On other news, I'm going to see Everything Everywhere on All at Once in theater with my mom, which everybody told me was a traumatic experience, especially if you're with your parents, and especially if you are one neurodivergent to a traumatized teen, or you were. I was. I still am. So you know, I'll let you know how it goes. Hi, hello, excuse me. Can you tell us a little bit about the current economy? Thank you so much. Am I propping my camera on my dog's butt? Yes, I am. But I've also like 10 minutes before my lesson and I needed to talk about Gideon. So it's a very pleasant experience now that I know all the characters, who they are, etc. I am roughly halfway through, a little bit more, and if you played the video game Virtue's Last Reward or like the 999 series, it's exactly like that. There's a scene with the incinerator. So, spoilers, they found some human remains in the incinerator, and it's that scene. And in Virtue's Last Reward, I think there's a scene like quite literally the same, where they find some human remains in an incinerator and they don't know who that is. And I vaguely remember who gets burned. So yeah, I am very much enjoying it. And I also wanted to show off my beautiful sweater that I did not make, but I want to replicate. Let's go to techniques of construction, my fucking awful lesson. I'm not really that presentable, but I am on chapter 27 of Gideon, and I am in physical pain. I didn't remember this book being so painful, but the second time around I am attached to the characters already, so pain it is. Also, I remembered from the first time that I read this book that I really hated the 8th house. But actually, it's just Silas, because Callum, I would like a novella about him. I think he would be like a very interesting character. And a very interesting dynamic, being older and the nephew. It's weird. Still in physical pain. We're getting closer to the revealing of all the secrets of the Ninth house. Hello. I am in severe mental and physical pain. Yeah. Okay. Hi. I finished Gideon the Ninth, My dog is having a fit outside, so if you hear anything, it's him. So let's talk about it. This is my first reread of Gideon the Ninth, and it was a lot more enjoyable than the first time around. First time around, I was very overwhelmed by the cast of characters, which is a flaw of the book. I think it's a very vast cast of characters, many of which die very early on, and you physically cannot get attached to them, even if they are important to the story. This time around, I have read both Harrow the Ninth and the novellas about Dr. Sax, which I think, if you want to reread Gideon the Ninth, you should firstly and freshly read for the first time the novella of Dr. Sax, because it gives you such an insight on Palamedes and Camilla's relationship, and I love them so much more. First time around, I did not care for them, so I was not fazed by what happened at the end. This does not erase the fact that I think the first book has so much meat on the flame in terms of characters and not a lot of things to get you involved with them. Rereading, much more pleasurable. It went up from 3.5 stars to a full 4. Flaws are still there. I think the world building is kind of lacking. I know in Harrow it gets expanded, and my sources tell me that Nona the Ninth is apparently the best one of the 3 in world building, so I'm hopeful. I have questions, and this is the spoilery part. Again, for the people who join me in my readathon, if you want to join me in my readathon for Harrow that I'm doing in November, I'm doing it on TikTok. It's a very fun time there. It's all in Italian, but it's accessible for people who don't speak Italian. It's just memes, and I use a lot of English sounds, so it's understandable. Questions for the spoiler part. Think of me as someone who has never read Harrow in this moment, because I completely forgot all of the details. I was so wrapped up in my theories that all of the details like slipped my brain and they are not there. So I have questions. My first question is, Cannon House, like the place where the lectorhood test is going on in Gideon the Ninth, it's not touched upon in Harrow, if I remember correctly, but we find out that some of the labs where Gideon the First and his cavalier, which I think was a woman, were testing things out. And what was Cannon House in the beginning? Who did it belong to? Was it God? Was it God and Electo? Was it, I don't know. Was it a test ground for all the cavaliers and the necromancer to become lictors? Because Cytherea knew Cannon House. We get the reveal at the end that Dulcinea is actually Cytherea, which I thought, first time around that I read it, I thought Cytherea had taken control of Dulcinea's body. It's not. She's a double, so they're completely identical. And Cytherea took Dulcinea's place. And she, knowing things and rereading all her dialogues, she spoils so many things that you don't notice, because Tasman Moore was very crafty in her dialogues. And she says a lot of things like to Gideon when she's suffering from the siphoning and stuff, like, poor you, I am very sorry for you, Gideon, because it's our fault, we did this to you, it's our burden to carry, this should have never happened. And she also comments on Gideon's eyes, which I know, if you read Harrow the Ninth, you know. So yeah, I also have a little bit more questions about the construct that was in Cannon House. Who put it there? And why was it confined to Cannon House if it was so powerful? Also, the first planet, they're on the first house planet. Is it all sea and just the Isle of Cannon House? Because we don't get to explore it. Neither we do in Harrow. And I have a lot of questions, because It's abandoned. It's in ruins. There are a lot of priests that are revealed at the end. They're just like manipulated puppets, and they're sort of perfect, which I think they're being they're tethered to God. There are so many things that do not get explained, nor in Gideon nor in Harrow. And I've listened to a lot of non-spoilery review for Nona, and people said they had loads more questions and so little answer. And I've just one more book, and Alecto has to wrap things up. And I have questions. I also, I'm going to keep this brief. Palamedes and Camilla, I loved. I also felt so bad for the fourth house teenagers. They die in a way that it's just unfair. Another one of my question is, why was Cytherea and also like the construct so keen on getting revenge on the fourth? Because there are messages left on the walls like death on the fourth, I want revenge, stuff like that. Why just the fourth? They're just teenagers. What happened in the fourth house history? I don't remember if in Harrow it is explained. I also have not read As Yet Unsent, so do not spoil me, please. I'm so happy I'm going to read these books again. It's proven to be one of my favorite series. Even if it's not perfect, I still love it a lot, especially Harrow. I think my reread of Harrow is going to be the exact same as Gideon, in which it only gets better. So I'm going to read Harrow and then As Yet Unsent, and I'm going to wait for the Italian translation for Nona the Ninth. If you want to join me in November to read Harrow, check into the description. I have all my social medias, but especially TikTok. So I'll see you in the next time. Leave your theories down below. I have so many, especially for Nona, but also for Harrow, because I've so many things I forgot. Pea brain size. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!